Myers, who is playing Azorius Control. I actually just watched Jeremy's match during our break. Actually took down Jonathan Orr with a timely Terminus.
And Terminus is a big deal in this matchup. One, because of speed, and two, because of putting things on the bottom. The major divide between builds of Azorius Control really comes down to whether or not you want Terminus or Supreme Verdict. And there's pros and cons for each of them. But in a matchup where your opponent's doing a lot out of the graveyard, I think Terminus is the better of the two. One, because you avoid putting stuff in the graveyard. And two, because it's fast, and a lot of these graveyard decks are extremely fast. They outpace Supreme Verdict.
Well, speak of the devil, and it shall appear. There is a Terminus right off of the top there for Jeromy Myers to get round number 13 started. We'll be playing it off a Celestial Colonnade to take care of this Flameblade Adept. So that is going to go on the bottom of Bob's deck. Azorius Control maybe a little more popular than expected here this weekend, but doing pretty well, at least in the hands of Jeromy Myers.
And you see a Detention Sphere in Myers' hand as well. You can see a lot of selection of cards in this deck. They're all fine cards on their own, but really informed by trying to beat threats that recur out of the graveyard. Detention Sphere obviously exiles things. Supreme Verdict puts things on the bottom. So trying to fight graveyard decks, but I would imagine particularly Arclight Phoenix.
We'll see what comes here for Bob on turn number 2. It's going to be a copy of Goblin Lore, so maybe drawing 2. Ooh, Spell Snare. You don't see that one often. That's a Ryan Overturf favorite, folks. One Spell Snare in the main. I like these one-up fun-ups.
Love it. Mark Herberhole is also a one Spell Snare kind of person.
Here's an Opt. On the main phase, looks like Jeromy might be looking for the third land. Field of Ruin is the third land, and pass it back over to Bob. Bloodstained Mire will be played here by Bob. Sacrifice that right away. Figure out which land he wants to grab. And it looks like it'll be a Blood Crypt. In a moment, we'll see what Bob would like to play. Maybe a Flamewake Phoenix? It will be. And that'll come across here for 2. Well, Path Exile says kindly leave.
Another removal spell that lines up the right way against Arclight Phoenix.
Does Jeromy have land 4 off the top is the question. The answer is yes. It's a beautiful Flooded Strand that he will sacrifice. And on a clear battlefield, it's a pretty good place for old Jace.
Typically is, although Hollow One has some amount of haste threats. It's not totally safe here. If Myers wants to be conservative, he could spend the first Jace activation Fate Sealing or perhaps Scrying to push it outside of range of certain haste cards, or even Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, I do think Lightning Bolt is probably a consideration at this stage. And it will be a Fate Seal targeting Bob. And that card, we will find out where it's going to go here momentarily. It's going to go on top. So if you're Jeromy, the hope is that you actually get to play with Jace again next turn.
I think I would have... I don't exactly know what Myers is playing around here, but I think I would have preferred in the dark here just to scry rather than Fate Seal, because I think he's kind of in a low information spot about what Bob needs. Like, are you comfortable leaving land number 5 on top? Maybe, but it's possible that unlocks 2 spells in one turn or a way to get Jace off the battlefield. Whereas he has a lot more information about the value of his own draw step.
There's a Bolt, bringing Jace down to 2. That is a Gurmag Angler. So there goes the graveyard. And now this is a Flamewake Phoenix to finish off the Jace. So not a bad turn there for Bob at all.
So for example, if you Fate Seal Bob there and Lightning Bolt's on top, what do you do? Because if he doesn't have a second Lightning Bolt, it's a dead draw. If he has a Flamewake Phoenix or a second Bolt, it really matters a lot.
Sure.
Which is why I think, absent of other considerations, I think I prefer just to scry.
Supreme Verdict comes down, takes care of the Angler and the Flamewake Phoenix. Now it's just a Flameblade Adept that Jeromy is going to have to contend with. Teferi was the draw.
But that aside, Myers has done a really great job this game, just keeping his head above water the whole time, making sure the battlefield doesn't get out of control. and lining up the removal the right way so the stuff that cares about being in the graveyard is being exiled.
Bob going to come across here for 1 on the ground. Doesn't appear as though there's much else to do. Well, I take it back. It's another copy of Flameblade Adept, which is pretty good for the detention sphere in Jeremy's hand.
Jeromy still might want to wait a minute on it just because the detention sphere is so valuable against the exiling threats. But Bob is drawing to just one, major enabler like Goblin Lore to potentially deal a lot of damage. And with Teferi in hand, Myers may want to play it safe here. Huang's down to 1 card in hand. Just keep the battlefield clear, and hopefully you find land number 5 and can just have Teferi ride the rest of the game out.
We head back over to Myers. Not a copy of Terminus. This will be the copy of Detention Sphere. Both of those Flameblade Adepts are now exiled. Colony will come down, and we will head back over to Bob, who will cast a Goblin Lore. So, there you go.
Yeah, Myers paid off there for being a little bit on the conservative side there, because that would have been a lot of damage coming across.
So 3 cards will be discarded. Bob will get to keep 2 of those 5. We're all just about set here. This does take a little longer than expected sometimes, but there we are. Looks like Faithless Looting, Tassiger, and Swamp go to the graveyard. Bloodghast, one of the cards left in hand. And here is Faithless Looting from the graveyard. So, flashback style on the very powerful red sorcery, as Bob will discard 2 cards here in just a moment. I think it was a Bloodghast and a Scalding Tarn. Play a Blackleaf Cliffs tapped, get back that Bloodghast, pass the turn back over to Jeromy. Jeromy very quickly draws his card. Does have Teferi in hand. Not sure how safe Teferi is just yet. Could just tuck away the Bloodghast, of course, but also just could go up and ignore it. I think that's the plan, is to go up, draw a card, untap a couple of lands, and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I mean, you would love the Teferi to stick here, but there's something to be said for, just getting your money, getting your 2 for 1 at the worst, and then moving on.
Oh, there's your 2 for woo. Well, one may have been a 2 for 1, but Negate's going to counter the bolt. So now Teferi is live, and we have seen in many formats, Patrick, Teferi run away with games after it's on the battlefield for 2 or 3 turns.
Right, and I think Myers here is setting up a really powerful board state here. Land number 6, 2 lands are going to untap, Cryptic Command in hand. And at 16, with Huang having really all of his resources depleted here.
It's going to be a Tassiger. Looks like that's going to be a no. Cryptic Command looks like it's going to be showing up here in just a moment to counter Tassiger and allow Jeromy to draw a card. Bloodghast will be hit by Path to Exile and ring the bell, I think.
Yeah, we are now at the point of no return.
Yep. Searcher's Conch will be transforming, if not this turn, then the next. Well, it's actually just going to be this one. And a combo good enough for Standard appears to be good enough for Modern here in Teferi and Escanta, the Sunken Ruin. So we'll just see how much longer Bob wants to play this one out, because I think I agree with you, partner. There's not really a point of return here for Bob. Condemn among the cards that Jeremy's looking at. Yeah, he's got 2 main deck copies of, just 1 main deck copy.
It's not
Condemn.
going in the graveyard. No. None of your threats are going in the graveyard. They're going to the bottom of your deck.
Yeah, like that one, as an example.
Bottom of your deck.
Bottom of your deck. Which is not where you want it. You want it in your graveyard. It's going to the bottom of the deck.
Terminus, bottom of your deck. Path to Exile. Exile it.
We'll activate Escanta again. At least I think so.
Yeah, I think there's some confusion about whether or not he had enough mana.
I was pretty sure he had more than enough, so I think we're all clear there. Hieroglyphic Illumination is the reveal. That one from Amonkhet, 3 in a blue to draw 2 cards, or you can cycle it for a single blue. Teferi will draw a card as its loyalty ticks on up to 6. Field of Ruin is the land for the turn. And now Colonnade is starting to feel a little frisky. Bob down to 7.
Love closing the game out here. A lot of people just kind of sit around forever. Even if it's just being conscious of the clock, I think it's still a good play.
Another Escanta activation. Cryptic Command among these cards. Jace the Mind Sculptor will go to the hand, and that is going to be more than enough for Bob Huang. As Jeromy Myers going to win game number 1 here over Bob Huang. Azorius Control up a game here over Hollow One, and you can see the deck building that is taking place here from Jeromy with a lot of cards that say, hey, I'm not putting this stuff in your graveyard, Arclight Phoenix players. I am putting it in various zones that do not involve your graveyard, like the bottom of your deck or in exile. As we will start with the sideboards here with Bob and his 3 Leyline of the Voids, 2 Ancient Grudge, 2 Engineered Explosives, 2 Nile Spellbound, 2 Thoughtseize, a Fatal Push, a Shatterstorm, a Liliana of the Veil, and a Terminate.
I mean, this is really light on things to bring in here. The 2 Thoughtseizes and the Liliana of the Veil seem actively good. The Nile Spellbomb is low opportunity cost and can muck up Snapcaster Mage and search for Escanta a little bit, but not a whole lot to bring in.
Other side of things here for Jeromy Myers, it's 3 Rest in Peace, 2 Ancestral Vision, 2 Negate, 2 Stony Silence, a Lyra Dawnbringer, a Detention Sphere, a Surgical Extraction, a Dispel, a Celestial Purge, and everybody's favorite.
Get out of here!
Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo.
I literally did not know that card was legal in Modern.
Oh, yeah.
It's confusing me because I assumed that I would have ran into it at some point over my years playing the format.
Circle Protection Red is in 9th edition.
Cool. Okay, well, I really don't think the active... I mean, you can bring in the Rest in Pieces here. They are modest. And you have so much removal that exiles already that I'm not sure you want a card that specific. I like the Surgical Extraction, like the Detention Spear, like the Lyra Dawnbringer, like the Celestial Purge. I'm even down for Cop Red, honestly. Enough of Bob's threats are red that I think the 1 is a low opportunity cost card, and it's very unlikely he can get it off the battlefield. But honestly, enough of Myers' removal already exiles that I don't think I would go to Rest in Peace here.
I hope the Cop Red comes in.
Wee-oo.
Give me the police. I like that sometimes we have to take things to an extreme and get them in here. So we'll see. We'll see if Jeromy Myers will bring in the Circle Protection Red or the copies in Rest in Peace as game number 2 prepares to unfold. For now, we're going to talk about the St. Patrick's Day sale. Your favorite holiday is
my favorite
yesterday
because it is my name,
and you're Irish.
I am.
It was almost like you were left no choice.
Right.
You're Irish, so your name is obviously Patrick. Talk to us about these great green cards.
Yeah, they're available at go.starcitygames.com/sale. They're green or produce green mana. They are on sale until Monday, 11 a.m. East Coast time, at which point we will have a new, hopefully slightly less prejudicial sale. go.starcitygames.com/sale.
It is my hope. Once again, I'm going to do, since we have these handy dandy tablets in front of us, quick check. I want to see if Shake Shack nearby is serving up some sort of Shamrock Shake. What's the shake of the month or shake of the week or shake of the day, whatever else they're doing here? Because I would be down for a Shamrock Shake from the Shack. It's got to be better than whatever McDonald's is, quote, cooking up, unquote. Oh, we have a question from the audience. How many stars does Shake Shack have on Yelp? I would imagine 5. Let's see. Shake Shack. Yesterday we checked, McDonald's had 2 stars.
Yep.
Shake Shack has 3. Thought there'd be more than that. In-N-Out Burger has 4. This is a made-up website.
Go back up. Top review on Shake Shack. Solid 4 - I'm a dude and felt a little hungry after the Shake Shack double. I love the flat top taste, ellipsis. Continue reading.
You know that introducing tablets to the broadcast that may have been a mistake.
It was certainly not my idea.
Crinkle cut fries could have been crispier, but that's my taste. Lunch for $225, sold, exclamation point. Really not sure where all the hate comes from. I can't read that. I'm not going to read that out loud. Just going to keep going past that review.
It's go back up.
Nope, I'm not going back up. I am not going back up.
There's some really thoughtful reviews of these restaurants.
Flameblade Adept is where game number 2 will begin here for old Bob off of Blood Crypt. Go back up. It's going to be a scroll down for me. All right, Faithless Looting. Looks like Jeromy has a copy of Rest in Peace in hand, so he has brought in the very powerful enchantment. Bob going to discard a couple copies of Bloodghast, and now Bloodghast are on the battlefield. So Rest in Peace a little too slow. Flameblade Adept, as things currently stand, a 3-power creature?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Bob does have the ability to play Hollow One this turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's got 1 mana and he's discarded twice.
Okay. And he will. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. That's attacking for at least 9 next turn. Is there a Terminus in our future?
It's a sweet Rest in Peace. You know.
I think I get it. It's gonna take care of that faithless looting.
Yeah. Bang.
Yeah. You smell Terminus coming? What do you think?
I don't.
Right now. We're in a casino. We could place a bet.
Bet against.
Okay, bet against. Bet against the house, huh? Good bet. Surgical extraction.
Sweet.
Not great.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Not great.
Would have been nice the last turn.
It'll be an island. It might be time for rest. Oh, boy.
Get him.
Oh, boy. Well, see you later, Faithless Looting.
Magic players, there are 5
Over to Bob.
to register for the 2 p.m.
Bob's going to cycle Street Wraith. Flameblade Adept now has 2 power.
Standard challenge event. There are 5 minutes remaining to register to do so.
Can attack for 10 right now.
That event on time. We can come up and register right now. And make that happen.
And Bob probably trying to consider here is there a series of draws exist that allow me to get to lethal this turn?
There is.
Yeah.
All right, Faithless Looting. Draw 2.
I mean, if he lootings into Goblin Lore,
We need to land for Goblin Lore right now because he has
right,
Goblin
yeah,
Lore.
right. He needs to loot into land number 3 to Goblin Lore.
Bunch of rubbish goes in the graveyard. Did he find land 3? I don't think so.
Doesn't appear so.
All right, so 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're at 4. I would draw Terminus if I were you, Jeromy. I think he's going to draw another Rest in Peace. Flooded Strand. All right, Field of Ruin. Has Celestial Purge in hand? That ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, he's only got one white mana, and most of the stuff here that plays back to the battlefield requires white, so I just would assume Huang will be dialing up an attack here momentarily.
Jeromy is going to need to have an opt on the end on Bob's turn into Terminus. That implies that Jeromy has opt in hand, which I don't believe that's actually the case. It's going to take stuff like that to get this job done. No bueno. Quick game 2.
Yep.
Quick. That's how we like it here on the SCG Tour. Bob, Jeromy getting ready for game number 3. As Azorius, Control, and Hollow One are all tied up. Now, I know the Rest in Peace didn't look good there.
I think it'll be a lot better on the play.
Okay. I do think it'll be better on the play as well.
Yeah, because if he had it on the play there, it would have been quite good. But, on the draw there, Huang got to do too much on the second turn, and then, the damage was already done. Rest in Peace couldn't catch up.
someone is offended that I don't enjoy Shamrock Shakes, I've said many times in the broadcast, I'm looking forward to a Shamrock Shake tomorrow.
We're extremely pro Shamrock Shakes on
Yeah.
this broadcast.
Now, that doesn't mean that Shamrock Shakes are good.
Right.
That's like saying the McRib is good. It's not.
No.
But I'm also pro McRib, which is probably not a good idea. I'm just curious if anyone's actually dialing up a good Shamrock Shake as opposed to whatever McDonald's is putting into their cup, which is probably, honestly, just vanilla milkshake with a small squirt of mint syrup or mint flavoring.
Or just the greens. Not even a flavor. Just the color.
I don't want to think about that part. This green food coloring?
Yeah, just the greens.
Yeah. Yikes. Yikes. So if Shake Shack or someone has a good Shamrock Shake, I'd be interested. Here's Shake Shack about 5 minutes from our hotel here.
Circle Red is intense. That's an intense card.
That's my kind of card right there. Let's do it right. These players are going to get ready here for game number 3. Our friends over at Ultimate Guard want to talk to you about their new digital life pads real quick that are now available. So we'll let you check those out, and then we're going to watch our third and final game here between Jeromy and Bab. That digital LifePad 9-inch now available everywhere. Get you some, including at
StarCityGames.com.
There it is. Glacial Fortress here from Jeromy. We're heading over to Bab.
Oh, he's got the Circle Red.
That's game. We're done. Lock down your hollow one. Lock down your blood gas. Probably take care of those.
Yeah.
I back during the solar flare days, I had Circle Protection Red in my sideboard. For you giant Solifuge maniacs. Yeah, you were one of them there, pal.
I didn't Solifuge all that much.
There was like some really good Gruul deck that had like Scorch Rusalka, Scab Clan Mauler. There was the red-green.
Yeah, I built a really low-to-the-ground Gruul deck.
Yeah.
Because everyone played with Remand, so I wasn't trying to play with 3-mana cards.
Yeah, it's smart.
No Burning Tree, Shamans, and such.
Yeah. I was very pro-Remand back then. That was oh boy. That was a Magic card. Let's draw 3 and discard 3 at random, shall we? A little Burning Inquiry. See, I like this. Keep the dice at home.
Yeah.
Okay. Search for Escanta, Detention Sphere, and Hollowed Fountain. Kindly leave. All right, Bob, you got any hollowed ones? Ding. Back to Jeromy. Jeromy still has Cop Red in hand. Planes and a passing of the turn. We'll head back over to Bob. In there for 4.
Myers currently with Circle Red and Celestial Purge in hand versus an artifact creature.
I do see a Path to Exile as well, though. But your point remains. He'll fall down to 16. All right, the real big fish,
Yeah.
that can be handled fairly easily.
That's a nice Celestial Purge target.
Pow. Exiled. Heading back over to Myers. He'll untap those 2 lands and draw a card. Glacial Fortress. Looks like he has another land in hand, too, there in the Flooded Strand. So deciding which one to lead out on. It'll be a Flooded Strand as we head back over to Bob, who's going to come in again with the hollow one.
This time in the round. Active player, please finish your turn and proceed with 5 additional turns. Again, players in the Legacy Classic. That is
Looks like Jeremy's going to sacrifice the Flooded Strand and search up a land. It'll be a basic island. And now there's an opt. And now there's a path to exile. So a swamp has been found.
2 o'clock. Standard players. Once again, players who are enrolled in the 2 p.m. Standard Challenge. Your round 1 pairings are making their way out.
And now we see a little bit more work here from Bob.
I think Liliana of the Veil here will be the follow-up.
Your pairings for round number 1 are making their way out to the gathering point flag.
And a good follow-up, to be sure. Opt on the end step.
I think Myers would have preferred to keep that opt to try to set up the Terminus, but now there's a lot of pressure on him to find a Tension Sphere or some other answer to Liliana of the Veil.
There's a Circle Protection Red, which unfortunately is not an answer for Liliana of the Veil.
Surprised, that feels like something you'd want to keep back in hand at this spot.
Maybe to discard?
Yeah.
Here's Goblin Lore. That'll resolve. Hollow One was one of the cards that was drawn there. So we'll see if that remains in Bob's hand. All right. We found our 3 cards. Flame Wake Phoenix, Engineer Explosives, and Blackleaf Cliffs. Okay. Well, Hollow One's still in hand then. There actually might be 2 of them. There's one Hollow One. Bloodstained Mire.
Looks like Bob is going to try to get empty-handed here before using the last Liliana of the Veil activation.
Get back a Bloodghast. Attack step. Maybe it's time. It's not. Path to Exile there. Bob was looking to get back Flame Wake Phoenix, but Jeromy said, we're not at that stage of things just yet. So Path will take care of the Hollow One. Bob will get a Mountain. And now it's an Engineer Explosives for 2.
Cover for the Circle Red, should that come up, and also answer for search for his Kanta, should that one come off as well.
Jeremy's empty-handed, folks. He needs to draw a Planeswalker. He's just going to play an island instead. I think a card like Jace or Teferi are the best draws here for our Azorius control player. Here comes Bloodghast. We have Blackleaf Cliffs, Liliana up to 6. We're heading back Jeremy's way.
Myers still with a ton of huge draws here.
Terminus, sort of one of them, but I like Bob's play here.
Yeah, you kind of want to get rid of the circle red anyway, and that keeps the blood gas in the graveyard. Now, the worry here is, with very little going on and not a whole lot of pressure, Myers is still drawing to search for his Kanta as a way to possibly pull ahead. But in this spot, I think it's important for Huang to kind of preserve his one threat.
Basic mountain there for Bob. Bob's going to play a copy of Goblin Lore. Draw 4, discard 3 at random, of course, which means he's going to get to keep one of these cards. So he'll get to keep that one and lose these 3 others, bloodgassed among them. Bob going to scan his graveyard. We know he's got a Flame Lake Phoenix down there, and now a bloodgast has been added to the graveyard. Looks like neither will be coming back right now, though. A Street Wraith will be hard cast. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now Liliana up to 7.
Pauper Challenge. Your pairings for your next round are being posted at the gathering point. Please.
4 mana, just a little late to the party is Jace the Mind Sculptor. It'll be a Brainstorm. And not a very good one.
Yeah, the hope there is that you can find a path the Street Wraith and maybe get another turn with Jace. So that will not be happening.
Bloodgast is going to come on back.
So you can ultimate the Liliana and just split Jace and 2 lands versus 3 lands. It'll pretty quickly clarify where the game's at. And it cuts off a lot of Myers' best draws, assuming that he keeps, even if you get rid of the 2 lands. Because if he doesn't have a path to exile, he's probably just going to let the Jace go. You'll find that out.
Most likely.
I would put 1 more land in there, I think. Maybe the well's a little bit poisoned for me, knowing that Myers did not draw a path to exile, but so many of the cards that are good for him here, Cryptic Command, Supreme Verdict, are still castable. Although maybe if you have enough fetch lands to rebuild, plus you're keeping your Liliana, you don't care about a sweeper. I prefer a second land in the split.
Yeah.
The odds are low enough that Myers has a path, or I suppose a condemn, and it's not even that bad if that does end up happening. I suspect that Jace is the worst permanent on the battlefield most of the time, and there's no reason to let him keep 4 lands if you can avoid it.
Cycle. Draw. Untap.
And Myers knows he's Jace locked now. He knows it's 2 lands on top.
Yeah, he's just facing lethal, right?
Yep.
There's Colonnade past the turn back. I suppose the hope is doesn't attack, but he can very easily just start his turn by ticking up Liliana, right, to get the information.
Just see what's up.
Yep. And that's exactly what Bob is going to do. Both these players will discard. Here's the lethal attack, and that is going to do it. Bob Huang is going to win this match over Jeromy Myers, 2-1. Hollow One's going to take care of Azorius Control, and for Bob Huang,